What's up, buddies? Welcome into the Playmakers Blueprint. I'm your girl, Bria Gauze. This is the podcast where we get to focus on crafting champions and shaping leaders. And I am so excited for who we have here today. One of my very favorites. Let me get her bio right. Okay. DeAirra Tucker. Welcome to the studio. DeAirra is a powerhouse in the world of basketball with a remarkable athletic career that includes being a 2009 state champion, 2009 national champion, and a 2009 Indiana All-Star. Her skills on the court continue to shine as she's earned second team All-Summit League honors in 2013 and first team All-Summit League recognition in 2014 during her time at IUPUI. A proud graduate of IUPUI with a degree in criminal justice, DeAirra has seamlessly transitioned from a standout athlete to a respected leader off the court. She has served as both director of basketball operations and the assistant coach at IUPUI, where her dedication and coaching has left a lasting impact on the program. Now, with a new profession, serving as an executive assistant at Heritage Construction and Materials, DeAirra is a devoted mother to her two beautiful children, Xavier and Naomi Tucker, and a loving wife. She is also a 2024 City League champion, continuing to demonstrate her commitment to excellence and the passion for the game. Today, we're so thrilled to hear about her experience and her journeys and the lessons that she's learned along the way. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to my older sis, my favorite older sister at that, DeAirra Tucker. Ooh. Welcome in, sis. How you feeling?
I feel good. Thank you for having me. Love your studio.
You know,
I love what you've done with the place.
Listen, if it's one thing we're gonna do it messy. We're learning how to do it along the way, but I'm super excited that you're here. So thank you for taking the time.
Well, thank you for having me.
Before we get too deep, how about we start off with a little? You got your 24-second shot clock. 3, 2, 1, go.
Gotcha.
Favorite basketball player of all time?
Kevin Durant.
Morning person or night owl?
Morning.
Guilty pleasure TV show?
Fresh Prince or Modern Family.
Okay. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Japan.
Go to basketball drill or workout?
Oh, anything shell drill.
We need to come back to that. Hardest part of motherhood?
Watching them grow up.
Favorite family tradition?
Christmas morning.
And what's your favorite superpower?
Being invisible.
Boom. Very good.
And yeah, we would have got it up.
Fine.
Yeah, we would have got it up.
In college, it's 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, we're good.
Okay, so, like I said, I'm super excited that you're here today. Mm-hmm. We're really going to be focusing in on how the skills that you learned on the court, you have now retired, and now you're taking those same skills that you learned on the court and implementing into your motherhood life.
Sure.
Okay. I've been fortunate enough to have so many wonderful mothers around me, and you were one of them as well.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I am. I know I'm the best. So,
too much.
Let's...
Sorry, I can't help it.
All right. So let's just jump right into basketball experience. Okay. So
Sure.
When did you start? How old were you? What is that journey step by step along the way?
Yeah. So, we moved here from Georgia in 94, 95, and Daddy kind of was like, hey, let's try this out. Yeah. I was like, okay, we'll try basketball. Don't know anything about it. Never really played. And the first league I remember playing was at Thatcher. Mm-hmm. Jordan Huber Vaughn now was our neighbor, and so I think her dad and our dad kind of got together.
Yes.
That was the first time I saw Alex Bentley.
Yeah. Didn't know that.
Yeah, ABZ. First time I saw Alex Bentley out there, Dad was like, hey, she's out there playing. You could play. I'm like, all right. And, back then it was co-ed, so they did not pass for the girls.
Yeah.
Kind of stood on the block and try to get rebounds, and that was the beginning of it.
Thanks.
Went from that to the Gardens, always a monumental step in Indianapolis basketball.
That's a fact. I think any real hooper went to the Gardens to lose everybody.
3-point line didn't even come all the way around.
Couldn't.
But you knew where it was.
Because he was at the out of bounds.
Yeah, you knew where it was, but you couldn't shoot. Pardon, I couldn't shoot, but you couldn't shoot from there anyway. And then, just kind of went from there, got in school ball. I was really nervous, though. It sounds great that I wasn't going to make the team, as if, there was just this crazy amount of talent at Ben Davis Junior High. I didn't know that, but, went out and did my best.
Right.
And then, obviously, went from that to high school. Fortunate enough to play for the legendary, Stan Binge all 4 years.
Shout out to Stan Binge.
Love Stanley.
Love you, Coach.
Yeah. First year, we were his first losing team.
Yeah, that was wild.
And 9-12, and he did not let us forget that all throughout. He probably, if I said something to him now, he'd be like, "Yeah, you guys were terrible." We were his first.
That's Stanley.
Yeah, Stanley. We were his first losing team, and then I was fortunate enough to get earned a scholarship to Western Michigan in the MAC, and I played there for 2 years. And then transferred to IUPUI back home where I really needed to be, and spend the rest of my career there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. You are one of the biggest reasons why I got into basketball,
Oh my
girl. Because you said toss my shot, just
I know.
bam, go in the house crying.
Oh,
Jeez, doing too much. So I just learned, how to get better. Just kind of through you, watched your work ethic, your discipline, your commitment. I was able to practice with you guys, so I'm 2 years younger, and so getting that experience from the guard position, and then going back to my age, and playing some posts and stuff. Like I can really say, and anybody that you talk to, I always say that you are really a pivotal point of why I'm where I'm at. So,
oh my God.
But not too much because I don't even like it like that.
And there you are.
Okay,
there it is. Right
I'm
there.
back. Okay.
There it is.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. What are some of the biggest lessons that you feel like you've learned? Just going through basketball.
I would say some of the biggest lessons that I've learned is the attention to detail, right? Especially when I was coaching. For those couple of years, knowing, for example, that we'd have, really good post players.
Yeah.
The other opposing team had really good post players. Something that we'd work on is the pressure on the ball and not allowing that, ball, kind of deterring it in there. If they can't get the ball, they can't score. So understanding how details really matter, whether it's from things athletically or kind of professionally. When I first got hired on as an executive assistant and, learning new people, a new company, a new type of field. Yeah. I'm just understanding people and and being able to relate with them. And there was a gentleman named Paul, and I kind of connected, talked, and we talked about his horse. He really loved horses, and he was really excited about that. And 2 or 3 weeks down the road, we kind of. How's it going? What you doing? I was like, oh, I'm doing great. How's your horse? And little Joe, I believe his name is. And he was just like, wow, you remember? I'm like, of course.
Yeah, that attention to detail.
Attention to detail really matters, and it kind of makes or breaks things. So for me, people get really caught up in instant gratification or the big sexy things, and that's not what life's really about. It's about little details.
Because I'm pretty sure that stuck with him more than anything that that you guys were able to talk about. So it really is about those little things and just kind of taking that and going with it. You feel like that attention to detail too? I mean, you are the oldest child. You feel like it always kind of had that attention to detail aspect? Not really.
Had to learn that aspect, I guess. Yeah. Kind of growing up, I not that I just wouldn't care.
Yeah.
It wasn't as important kind of growing up and understanding. Okay, Harrison learns this way. Bria does this way. Kira does this. Things this way, and knowing those about the specific different people, I think that helps.
Yeah.
When you're trying to create relationships or rapport. Trying to get, trying to be successful in life in general. I think attention to detail is what, it matters.
Isn't it crazy how we all grew up under the same roof? With the same parents. And I feel like we're all very different, right?
Very different.
Right?
Very different.
It's really,
we look alike, but we're all different.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
But, even with, I think parent styles, I think our parents were like, you know what, I think I'm done parenting one day and just let Kira do whatever she wants.
I agree. Because.
No, not too much.
Man, she could do. When I was coming up, she complained. She called me one time. She was like, "Mom and Dad, they go out and they just send me food." I'm like, "What are you complaining for?" Right. They wouldn't let us go out ever. It was Sunday after church. That was it.
Especially you.
I know.
Especially when you left college.
When I left for college,
I said, "Dee, please come back."
I know.
They are on me.
The heat's on you now.
Yeah, it was wild.
He was on me for years.
Love our parents.
Love them. They're the best. They're the best. But it's hot.
Sons.
It's hot in that kitchen.
Okay, so some of the skills. So what are some of the skills that you feel like you've learned from basketball that have biggest impact on your life outside of the game?
One of the biggest skills that I learned was kind of to prepare. When you're whether you're a coach and scouting or you're a student athlete and receiving that scouting, being prepared for me is kind of what I've learned the most. Now I will prepare for getting my kids' athletic things together, getting them together academically for my job, kind of writing things down. Even things as simple as writing a list for food, right? I've got a notebook. I know what we're having on what days. I know what days we're going to have leftovers from the previous day because we've got school. It's a lot. So being able to, kind of prepare, it to me is what I've learned, what I took most from basketball. Being prepared. Success just doesn't happen. You have to prepare for it.
Facts.
And
that's a fact.
That's probably one of the biggest takeaways, especially we weren't always successful, and kind of why you weren't always successful: attention to detail and being prepared.
So I think this goes without saying, but how has your preparation skills helped you as a mother?
Again.
Take your time, Pastor.
Yeah. Again. And I only have one child in extra so I can't imagine more than one at this point. Right? I just don't know what's going to happen. But for me, specifically Xavier, he is in travel baseball and travel basketball. He gets off the school bus at 4:30. And so I have to, number one, take care of my own mental, my own physical. I get up every morning. I do CrossFit now, which is super fun. Anybody looking to do something outside of like structured, sports, right. CrossFit's super fun. So I get up at 4:30 every morning. Get to the gym by 5:15. I work out, but then I also have to have the kids prepared for what they have to do for the day. So Xavier's in travel baseball and travel basketball. That means 2 or 3 times a week we're doing either one of those. Yeah. And so something I found, he's very similar in that I need to let him know kind of before, even though he's 9, right? Like I'm his executive assistant too. I gotta let him know, hey, real quick. So when you get off that bus, we're gonna get our snack. We're gonna get our peanut butter and jellies, and then you've got baseball from 5:30 to 7. Then you've got basketball from 7:30 to 9.
What happens if you don't?
If I do, I mean, he'll go. Yeah. Obviously, we're gonna go, but he's a lot less like it's not a shock to his body. It's like, all right, I get off that bus. We've already done our homework, right? So we do our homework sometimes in the morning. If we've got to prepare, he's got to do homework. He's got to practice every week. If he knows he has practice on Thursday, on Wednesday morning, or Wednesday evening, we're doing 2 days of homework. That way, he doesn't have to try to hurry up and do it the next day. Okay. So preparation with my kids is huge and consistency.
So basketball obviously requires a lot of focus, a lot of consistency and practice. How do you apply that same discipline when it comes to your parenting style?
Great question. Question.
Wait. Yeah. What is your parenting style? I guess it factor into that too.
Well, are you asking me if I'm a gentle parent, or what's the question here? What's the question?
Are you a gentle?
I mean, yeah, I feel. I don't know if gentle's a word. I feel like I am very straightforward, right? We're not going to sugarcoat what's going to happen. So these are my expectations. These are the standards. These are the boundaries. And if we're not meeting them, then this is what's going to happen. I lay it out really clearly. Now, when I first started, being a parent, I would just kind of, lay the hammer down. Hey, this is what I learned a little bit of grace as I learned, they're 9. Yeah. He's 9 and she's 4. So they're still learning their big emotions. They're still learning how to navigate those things. And I understand. And as a parent, I'm still learning how to navigate my own triggers and my own emotions. Right. But I mean, I feel like I set certain standards and set certain boundaries, and that's what it is. If we start to waver too much, if we start to give too much, then you're it's the same thing with your diet, right? Like you can't expect to be in a calorie deficit and lose weight if every weekend you're like, okay, well, I'm going to give a little, I love pizza, I love margaritas. You can't do that every time, every weekend, and expect change. Same with the parenting. You can't expect them to understand the your consistent discipline, your routines, if you're always wavering. Right. Oh, I want to stay up late because, this, that, and the other. You can't do that every weekend. Every once in a while is okay. Right. But I'd say I'd have a mixed, hey, we're going to explain things, we're going to talk about emotions. I understand that. But things still need to get done. And this will still happen.
So it's like you can express them.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting that out.
Thank you.
Now back to this.
Correct. Absolutely. Right. It's going to get done either way. Either you're going to get your room cleaned and have your electronics at the end of the day, or you're going to get your room cleaned and it's not going to be there. Yeah. The choice is yours.
And the lesson is learned.
Absolutely. And he's getting a little bit. He calls my bluff. And I showed him I don't fold him. I don't fold him. We're going to play that. We're going to play the big hand. Okay? Pocket aces every time. Every time. We don't fold.
So I feel like that was a good representation just of your strategies, your routine that you have with the kids. We know about the pressures of basketball, right? We know that, close games, big games, that in the shot clock situations, we know we can feel the pressure. How has your experience with pressure helped you stay calm during those tough situations as a mother?
Okay. Well, first, the pressures that the student athletes kind of have nowadays is I commend them because I don't think I'd be able to handle that, in today's society, in today's culture, social culture specifically. I wouldn't be able to handle that. We were coming up, social media was just turning the corners, kind of cool. Facebook, Zynga, I don't know if you remember that, but MySpace, your favorite. It was very different than what it is today. So I really commend them from that.
Right.
Talking about pressures, the pressure in motherhood's hard, right? You want them to be successful. You want them to do anything to be successful. But at the same time, you understand they're human. They're going to make mistakes. And so I feel like as a mother, you can only prepare them. You can prepare them for life. But for me, it's kind of twofold. You want to be there so they don't fail. But failure especially young, is good for them. It's a lesson.
Yeah.
You're not going to be successful in everything you do.
Facts.
And so
that's a lesson within itself.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And so being under, like, hey, I love to play ball. It's great. It's fun. I love to be a mom. It's great. It's fun. But like being successful, what does that look like for you? And for me, it's being a good person. It's helping out your community. Yeah. It's being a positive influence in life. And if he and Naomi, if they're doing those things, then for me, that's success. Mm-hmm. And so from a pressure standpoint, do you feel like, they could do all the crazy things in the world? But if I'm doing what the most that I can do for them every day, then that's just what it is. Yeah. Like, same thing on the court. If I'm doing the best that I can on the court, win, lose, or draw. If I've given my all, then that's all you can do. Yep. Let the chips fall where they may. Facts. And not that I'll be, super happy if haters, not successful, whatever that looks like, but I've done what I can. Yeah. And as long as I can go home every night and sleep, like, I've done what I can. Yes. I'm preparing him the best way I can in this world, and then let the chips fall where they may. Yeah. No, I think that's so true, because when you do the work when nobody's looking. Right. So I guess in motherhood, that's kind of like the in-home. Right. The character building that you are instilling him at home, so that when he leaves the home, he know how to act. Correct. On the basketball court, because I'm not a mother yet, but on the basketball court, like, I'm getting up at 5 a.m. and I'm going hard when nobody is in the gym, so that when I get to the game, it's just, I've already done this. Second nature. I've already done this. Second nature. So that's a really good analogy there. All right, so can you share a story where you applied a basketball mindset to a challenging mom moment? A basketball mindset. Yes. So I don't really consider myself a rah-rah person. I feel like I'm a person of, well, it just depends, but I feel like I'm a person of few words when it comes to like, being on the basketball court. And so there are certain instances, situations where I felt like I had to like kind of step outside of myself and have a conversation with some people. Even you, like, sometimes I feel like you, for whatever reason, aren't as confident with yourself. Yeah. And so I feel like sometimes I'm like, hey, you're good. We're good. Go out there and, shoot the ball. You're the best player on the gym. Yeah. And so giving you that confidence, I feel like, has helped me give Xavier specifically confidence. He and I are very similar in some ways. And so I know that he's not a very confident, individual. And just like, hey, we're good, especially academically, right? Like, he and I learn differently. And so sometimes we struggle with reading comprehension. Yeah. And so giving him that confidence, like, hey, you've got this. You're smart. You're well equipped. We've put in the work. Just, take your time. And he looks at it, he's like, and he's so excited. He came home, like, the last couple of weeks, he struggled with the eye read, and he came home and was like, I got a 7, I got an 80.
Killed it.
Yeah, and doing great.
I love
and
that.
Like, a couple months ago, we were really, scared and upset, like, how are we going to overcome this? And just, hey, you've got this. And sometimes that's all you need, is that, like, somebody else believing in you to know that you can do something. And so I've learned that giving people confidence on the court, giving my son, even Naomi, confidence. She doesn't lack as much confidence. That's spicy. Yeah, Naomi, she's a little hot. She's a little hot. But, even her sometimes, she's trying to get a little shy. I'm like, hey, you're good. Yeah, that's true. She's trying to get a little shy. I'm like, don't worry about that. Just go out there and have fun. Go play. Even when she's trying to meet new people. She's, I don't know. I'm like, Mom. Or she's, Mommy, I don't know what to say. Can you come with me? Okay. Just go and say, hey, my name is Naomi. Can I play? And she's like, okay, I'll do it. And, she's 4. Yeah. She's learning. So giving people confidence, I feel like, is something that I learned on the court that I've kind of, learned in motherhood. Like, hey, give them confidence to go out there and be themselves. Yeah. It's almost that reassuring fact. Right. Yeah. I think, just referencing back to, how we were raised and things. Like, I can remember vividly of times when Mom, has given me confidence. You have given me confidence, and just kind of taking that and using that, using those experiences. Bean's 9, he's going to remember these things when he is, 29, and being able to be secure in himself. So I think that's awesome. Yeah. Okay. So, as we know, the teamwork and the support systems. Okay. So, basketball is all about working as a team. How do you feel that concept transferred to how you approach family dynamics and working with your partner, extended family, and friends? Yeah. No, raising kids takes a village, right? It's not just the mom and dad, and I'm lucky to have a husband who's like super involved, who helps out, in all aspects. But it's not just about like mom and dad, like making sure that things are together. And I'm so fortunate. Like, some people just don't have this, right? And it makes me so sad. But some people just don't have this. you, mom and dad, like y'all live 12 minutes down the street. I'm lucky enough to be able to call you if I'm running over at work or something's going on with my car or, whatever life throws at you. And so being able to ask for help, specifically being the oldest, but also being like a Black woman, like that was very hard for me, right? Like you don't ever want to seem like as oldest, like, all right, you've got it together, you're here, like you don't seem weak. And same as, also as a Black woman, like you being inadequate, not living up, like asking for help is so hard. And with Xavier, specifically, because he's my first, right? And Naomi a little bit too, but it was so hard to be like, hey mom, could you like watch him while I just sleep, right? Like, because that first time you have a kid, it's a shock to your body, right? You've got all the things happening with your body, like physically, mentally, like you're not sleeping, you're waking up every 2 hours. Remember you came home from Finland, Finland. And because you're on a different time schedule, you're watching him while watching Vampire Diaries.
Yes. Shout out to Vampire Diaries. And I stayed up with them the whole time.
Yes, I did. Because I just needed like consistent 4 to 5 hours of sleep, and I really wasn't getting. Like, we weren't getting that as parents at first, because you don't know. He moves. You're like, oh my god, is he breathing? Like,
oh my god,
it's so scary. That first time, I was like, am I qualified to be here alone with this baby? Like, it's so scary.
And you set me up for failure.
Oh, you did great.
I watched that little boy. Listen, I watched that little boy when they went to Bali, and how old was
he?
Fiji. Oh, yeah, sorry, he went to Fiji, other side of the world.
Yeah, he's about a year and a half. For about 10 days.
I called you. I said, all right, Dave, what can he do on his own?
And I said, nothing.
I was like, wait, what?
He's 18 months old, so he can't tie a shoe. He can't, no.
He can't do anything.
He cannot do anything on his own. So you're going to have to feed, bathe, get him together, think for him. He was an infant at the time. And you did great.
No. And then I would go and I would wake up and I would just go to check and make sure that belly was moving.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. And go back and I'll sleep for like an hour, get up, change. Oh, I don't see it. So it's a real thing.
It's real. And so being able to ask for help and like receiving the help, right? Receiving help is hard. You never want to feel like you're not good enough or you're not smart enough or you're not sufficient enough. Receiving help is really hard. And so luckily, I'm so blessed to have, V's a big help. Like,
that's a fact.
Like, I hate laundry. She comes over every weekend, happily, and just helps me with laundry. She can clean, I kid you not, the front door, she can clean that thing in like 10 minutes. And it takes me 2 hours. I'm like doing things and she's just, and she helps me so much. And it's really nice. I mean, Mom, all of you guys, Cody, like you guys all help in that way. So being able to ask, but then receive help without feeling guilty is something that that I've had to learn how to do. Right. And it's been hard, but I'm lucky because some people don't have that.
I think that you hit that right on the nail. Like especially as Black women, I mean, we just have all these standards. We have all these expectations. We have all this unnecessary pressure that we either put on ourselves or that the society puts on us. So I think it's very important to understand that like asking for help isn't a weakness. It's not a failure.
No.
I think it's important to know that, especially when you have that support system, to use that support system. Sure. And I think I struggle. Yeah. And I have a great support system. Yeah. I think I don't think people think that I have it all together. I don't think, you guys prejudge in a way of like, you don't ever need anything. I think you guys go out of your way of like, hey, are you good? Yes. And I think I'm so conditioned, like, yep, I'm good. Even if I'm, the fire's all around me and things like that.
Trying to douse it.
Yes. Okay. Like, and then as you're doing that, this one goes starting back up.
Correct. Again. No, asking for help. It's a necessity. And I hope more people, if they listen, like, I hope they understand, like, asking for help is a necessity. Yes. And you can't pour from an empty cup. Facts. You can't. You just can't do it. Like, you can't do it all. And so, if I can encourage anybody, it'd be like to ask for help, or if you don't have help, like find out who you can branch out to like, because that mental stress, it translates to your physical stress, like that stress on your heart. We're not 15 and 10 anymore. Like that, you have to take care of your physical body, and if you can't do that because you're constantly at a high like flight and fight, like you don't want to be there. And so asking and then receiving help is something that I've learned to do, and I it's like a saving grace for me. Right.
Remember, I'm always saying like, it could be worse.
Oh,
yes, it could be worse.
It can always be worse.
I remember you used to get so irritated.
I did
when I say that.
I did.
And now that I'm older, I'm like, that was kind of like diminishing, like what you were going through. What I was going through. It was like,
I think you meant it. You didn't mean it in this way.
The most positive way.
I don't use that as much, just because. It's not that it's negative, but It could be worse. Obviously, it could always be worse.
Facts.
But also understanding, like, hey, this is where I need help. I'm struggling here.
Yeah.
This is where I'm struggling. I'm struggling to get sleep. I'm
Right.
struggling to do this. I'm struggling to make sure the dishes are done before I go to bed. Like, I'm struggling in those areas.
Yeah.
How can I have somebody help me here?
Right.
Or let me sleep. Or let me shower
Right.
without... I mean, you would be amazed. You shower, and it's like, oh, he hit me. She took this. They're not listening. Like showering sometimes... You're fighting for your life. Try to shower peacefully. Just try to shower without breaking up a fight. You got a 4-year-old just watching you shower. Like, so ask him for help. I'm so serious. You can have him for a week and you'll see. Come get him for, get him for a week and you'll see real easily. Like, it never stops. It never stops.
Constant.
And so, asking for help, asking for a break.
I love that.
Is important.
I love that. All right. So let's turn it over to like the resilient side of things, right? Sure. So in basketball, you don't always win, especially the first time. Mm-hmm. Okay. How has learning to lose, fail, and bounce back from that shaped the way that you handle challenges in motherhood?
Yeah. So we never won, right? Do you remember those first early days?
Do I?
We used to get blown out.
I used to hate going to your game. Mommy, please, I can't play.
Not another game. Not another one. Yeah, no, we used to get blown out bad, right? I'm talking like 53-3, like at Carmel, and I knew we were losing. It wasn't like I was like ignorant to the fact that we were not winning. Right. It was very clear that we were not a good team. But keep showing up every day, and things will change. Things will get better. We went from never winning, probably probably 4th through 6th or 7th grade, to finally like stringing a couple wins together. And then you look up and you're national champion. Like, think about that. We went from never winning a game in Indiana.
Never really known
to a national champion. And so I think it's two things. It's learning learning the adversity part, like why you're losing. Like, attention to detail again. Why are you losing? You're not good enough. Why aren't you good enough? Like, these reasons. And then also to keep going, to keep showing up, right? And kind of the same thing with, with motherhood. I've never even like publicly coming out and say this. Not that I have a huge following, but never. But I lost my job. I got fired from my UPUI in 2021, April of 2021. Yeah. Now let me paint the picture for you.
Gotcha.
I had Naomi in December. I was on maternity leave from the time I had Naomi until February. Okay. I came back in February. Now this is after COVID, right? Like for 2020, after COVID. Right. And in April, I got fired. Wow. And it was so hard.
Brand new baby.
I had bought a house. We bought a house before all those interest rates got. I mean,
the market.
Yeah, the market got crazy. We were fortunate enough to get a house. Bought a house. We were married, had a new baby, and I'm looking at this child. I'm like, how am I gonna provide for this child with no job? Right. And it was very hard. And some of the struggles I had with my confidence, with just me being being a person, being a mother. Like, I was going home, I was angry. I was, there's just a lot of different emotions. Right. And what I learned from that is, like, God's going to put you in places.
Ooh, Jesus.
Yes, preach. God's going to put you in places and in positions and kind of maneuver your life in the way that He needs to. Like, that's what's best for you, right?
His plan.
Not your plan. And I thought it was going to be some, grand coach down the line. Right. Pat Summit, Don Staley, like-ish. And not that I don't love coaching, not that I don't love ball still. I still love those things. But I love what I do now. Yeah. I work for a person who is amazing. I have a amazing work-life balance. I have an amazing just life. And I feel so much gratitude towards that right now. And I wouldn't have got that had I not gotten fired.
Facts. Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
And that was a very difficult time. It was not one of the most difficult times. And that tragedy, there was so much beauty in that, because you would have, not to put your business out there, but like, when you were in the trenches of being that coach and having to be away from, being at the time, Xavier at the time, and like, you weren't always as present as you are as a mother. Could you imagine being that coach right now? No. And then going and taking him to... I
couldn't.
You know what I mean?
And it just wasn't my calling, and I didn't get that at the time.
Right.
I didn't get that. And it was not my calling to be an assistant coach or a coach or be a potential Don Staley down the line. That was not my call. That's it. And at the time, I was so angry. I hated everybody. I hated everything. I was just not a good person when I got fired. I was just...
Yeah, you were tough to be around.
Yeah, I know. I know. I know. And it was horrid, but the resiliency, I think, for me, is I just kept showing up, right? It allowed me to slow down. If you think about a student athlete right now, they get up, they got to do this, they got to do that, they got to go here, they have to hit study tables, they have to make sure they get to practice, they have to hit weights, they have to make sure they get to all their classes. They were doing all that, and so was I for years. When I got fired, it ceased. I went to a job, and I didn't love my job at the time. After I got fired, I worked as an administrative assistant for at the health department. It wasn't hard. I had so much downtime. And I was like, this is so demeaning. Like, what's my purpose in life? To sit here? But you know what it allowed me to do? It allowed me to be still.
Ooh.
It allowed me to be quiet. Ooh. And I hadn't had that ever.
Facts.
Ever. It allowed me to be quiet. I went through therapy. I was able to sit and read. I was able to just relax.
Journal. You guys talk.
And then I got this amazing opportunity to do the job that I do right now. After which, mind you, I did not get the job initially.
So, and let's talk about that. So you applied for a job. The same, not the same.
Just about the same company.
But a different position.
No, it's pretty much the same position. They ended up splitting it. But it's pretty much the same position. Didn't get it. I'm so mad. I was like, Lord, what in the world? You put me through hell, literally. I was so mad. I was like, bro, I've been doing everything. I had an amazing resume. Like, I'm more than qualified for this job.
I was ready too.
Ready. Why didn't I get it? And then I got it in 2023. And I learned, I said, oh, that's why I didn't get it.
Yeah, because it was so much better.
Waiting. And Bria, mind you, it was only, 2 years? It was 2 years. And I was just throwing a hissy fit. Just ungrateful. Just whatever. I finally got the opportunity to work for this company, and it's been amazing. But you know what I learned? When I got fired, at least what I learned about myself. When I got fired and I applied for this job, I wanted it so bad to prove to myself that I was not a loser.
Wow.
I wanted it so bad. I didn't want it for the right reason. I didn't want it to make my boss a better person or to help in the community. I wanted it so that I didn't feel like a loser. Wow. And God was like, nah. You're going to feel like a loser for a little bit until you learn, like, really what you're here to do. And then I get the job in 2023, and I'm like, this is the best thing ever.
Right.
But remember Scar in Lion King? Yeah. Remember Scar? He wanted to be king for the wrong reasons. Yeah. And I was Scar. Yeah. I wanted to be on top of the world for the wrong reasons, to prove everybody that I was not a loser. Right. And that wasn't the right reason to have the job. It's to, like, better other people's lives, it's to serve a community, it's to do certain things. Right. And I'm so grateful that God made me wait. Right. Because now, I mean, I'd have been like, first of all, this job is amazing. I'm making buku money. Yes. Like, I just love it. It is what it is. I'm making great money, a great living. But it would have been for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. And you wouldn't be able to handle it.
Correct.
So
I was so hurt.
The timing.
Right.
How precise was the timing for that to really let things come out? Oh, if you would have got the same job 2 years ago. Yeah. For the quote-unquote wrong reasons, right? You would have fumbled that a long time ago.
Fumbled it.
And then here you have the gratitude. Yes. You have the appreciation.
Absolutely.
You have the dedication. I think, especially the biggest thing I think that stood out to me when you got this job was how easy was that transition for you? You literally, and this confirmation from God. Ain't no going, no holes. No confusion. No doubt. No worry. Like, it's just a rolling stone. Yes. And it continues to go. And I remember you're like, I'm kind of waiting for the shoe to drop here because everything and everyone has been so nice. It's been amazing. But I wouldn't have had that appreciation, gratitude for it had I not gone through what I had gone through as coaching. Or I wouldn't. And people ask me all the time, like, how did you do? I love it. I've been there for almost 18 months. There's not a day where I'm like, I don't feel like going to work today. My boss is great. The company's great. The people are genuinely great. And for me, it kind of restored my faith in humanity because I thought, especially after getting fired, that the world was crap. Right, like the world is just suffering. It's just, and it's like this new kind of like it. Not only like I already knew God was real, but it kind of like just helped me. It just kind of helped me elevate. Like, okay, so God, you were right. You were right. My bad, big dog. My bad. You right. So now when I'm like, hey, God, you was right. You're right. Yeah. You're right. That's such a good thing. Yeah. So I learned, I guess, back to resiliency. I guess it was your original question. Just keep showing up. Facts. Right? Just keep showing up. Doing the right thing, doing the work, because eventually you'll turn that corner when you least expect it. Look at you now. You know? I feel like you're doing great things. And trying.
And it's not always easy. But you always have a smile while you do it. Yeah. While I may be a little bit more pessimistic through the crappy part, that's something I admire about you. You're just always well, you know, you gotta smile, and we're just gonna keep walking forward. That's all you can do. Yeah. Smile. I mean, not to say it doesn't hurt, not to diminish, pain. Yeah. Not to say that it didn't hurt getting fired. Right. That hurts more than anything. But it's okay.
Yeah. So, for moms who might be struggling to balance everything, what advice would you give them that you've learned from the basketball court?
Tips for mothers who are struggling to balance everything. Yeah. Again, and I know this sounds redundant, but making a plan and understanding your trigger points, what works for you and what doesn't work for you. For example, for me, I am not a night owl. Anything after 6, 7 p.m., we could hang that up.
You're done.
I'm done. I feel it now. I'm already tired just thinking about it.
Yeah.
So understand where you are as a person. Are you a night person? Do you get things done at night? Are you a morning person? Are you a person that needs to write things out? For me, I need to write things out. Some mothers don't. They don't care. Their house can be chaos, and there's nothing wrong with that. But understanding what's important. Yeah. For me, I know that a clean kitchen in the morning really helps my attitude. If there's still dirty dishes, I can't handle that. So understanding what works for you and what doesn't, and then knocking all that noise, kind of. However you expect me to be as a mother doesn't really matter as long as I meet my own expectations as a mother.
That's so much easier said than done.
It is. Yeah.
Did you have to work to get to that spot, or
not at all?
Did you already?
Not at all. I know that I'm putting my all in being a good mother.
Yeah.
People that might struggle, I'm not sure if I'm living up to the standards. Yes. If you're thinking about if you're a good mother or not, you probably already are. Yeah. It's the mothers that don't think about if they're a good mother or not, that typically, not to judge. Yeah. No, you do what you want to facts. But if you're thinking about if you're a good mother or not, more times than not, you are. Right. Are there areas for improvement? There's always areas for improvement. But what's important to me, it doesn't matter if it's important to so down the street or such and such down the street that's doing this. There's a mother, and she's awesome. Yeah. She's awesome. Her house looks amazing. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, my house can never. Yeah. I want to be like you when I grow up. Yeah. That's that. But my expectations aren't her expectations. Yeah. And that's okay. Right. But understand what your expectations are as a mother and just doing the best you can every day to get those done and asking for help. Like we talked about, if you in certain areas that you need those help. Right. That would be my advice, is understanding what your expectations are, and then just making those important. Yeah. Getting that done.
It is.
For me, something that's important to me is making sure that I get to all my kids' extracurriculars, being for them academically, right? Because Xavier struggles a little bit in certain areas. Making sure that he understands that I'm here for him and I'm helping him with his resources, and then keeping them safe. Yeah. Right. Those are my expectations. Everything else, do they have a play set on the outside? Are they, do they have the latest gear? Do they have the latest fit? No, I don't care about none of that. I don't care about none of that. That's not my goal, is to make them look like they're the best in the world. My goal is for them to be the best person that they can be.
And with social media,
oh my gosh,
I think people want to look rich but not actually be rich.
Correct.
Or look like they have it all together, but then they go home to an abusive husband or whatever the case may be. The facade that people put on, and I think it's at an all-time high. Right. Somebody that got their first home at 21. Things should still be celebrated if you get your first home
at 41. Correct.
But
people try to make it competitive. Everybody out here.
It's not valuable if you don't get it at this point. And just doing this and having this. No. It's not.
And
better people.
It's not about that. Surrounding yourself with people who are superficial like that is super important. But surrounding yourself with actually good, genuine people. Yeah. I could say in my life, I'm so blessed to have good, genuine people around me that not only hold me accountable but can help. Yep. And can kind of help guide. Mom, me and my mom.
Talk about it.
Me and my mom did not. All right, shout out to Mom. We did not see eye to eye. Probably from 12 to about 22, 23. Yep. I couldn't stand her. She was I just couldn't.
No.
Bria, we're the same person.
I know.
We're she's my best friend.
I know.
We weren't friends growing up at all, and she made that very clear. Yeah. And now, what's Mom doing?
Yes.
Hey, Mom. Yes. When we were little, I did not want her to tell me what to do. Now I'm like, hey, Mom, real quick, can you tell me what to do? Could you help me?
That's a fact.
And we're just so blessed to have a mom like her.
I know.
She's the best.
I know.
Some people don't have that.
I know.
and it's foreign.
Yes.
It's foreign to me to have a situation.
Yes.
Even as an adult, right? There's some people as adults who can't have conversations with their mothers, very candid conversations. And not that we could always have those candid conversations when we were younger, but I appreciate mom more than anybody. And so, we're just so blessed.
Yeah.
We're just really blessed.
It's almost like, I think when I got to preschool, I was like, wait, not everybody's family dynamic isn't like
this?
Like this. Like, I think they set it up in such a way that made us feel so comfortable.
So comfortable.
And so, again, she established very early that we weren't friends.
Yes, she did.
But the guidance and the love and the responsibility, support that she was able to give us, it was kind of like now that we are, young adults, I'm very, comfortable going to mom about this, that, and the other. And I mean, I just want to hear your opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and again, you're a mother.
Yes.
So having a mother who's already been through that is not going to do anything but give you the best advice.
I know, it makes me emotional thinking about it. But our mom she's the best. She's the best mom.
Literally.
She's the best mom. Sacrifice, but you would never have known. Ever. And I don't do as great of a job like Xavier. Mom had way more patience.
Facts.
She had way more patience. She had way more, she's just the best. Yeah. And I really can't appreciate her anymore. Yeah. Like, I wish I could buy her everything. Not that she would want it.
I know.
But that she need it. But I cannot give enough gratitude to my mom.
She never asked for it.
She never asked for it.
You know what she said? We're going off script, but she said, because I'm 32, getting ready to hang up basketball. And the plan was always, when I'm done, I'd have some money saved up to start looking into getting a place. Her and Dad both. I don't want to just sing out, Mom, but they were both like,
Yeah, Dad's great too. By the way.
Yeah, I know.
Dad's great too.
But like, she was like, you don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, we'll make it here. You'll be fine. There's no rush. Right. If you want your own space, then get your own space. But like, how many, especially again, the Black community, how many people are really like, oh, you're 18, now you need help on these bills. And I think, she went through a part of that.
Sure.
And so now she's seen how hard that was. Right. And she doesn't want to repeat that.
Correct.
And so, I mean, it's kudos to her because not everyone has it like we had it.
Correct.
By any means. My mom was the epitome of what you want to be. Right. I think I was standing at a panel, or not standing, but there was a panel with Michelle Obama and some other like really renowned people. And I was like, dang, I wish I could be there. But then I kind of thought I was like, I get that every single day from my mom. Every single day. There is not a time where, and I love Michelle Obama.
Sure.
People always
I would love to see her.
Hello. But like, I was raised by very well. And where I had everything that we needed. Maybe not everything we wanted, but everything that we needed.
Everything we needed, everything that matters. Like, think about what really matters in life. Everything that matters, Mom did 10 times over. So
now you get to be that same person for me. You might not see it now.
If I could be half the person Mom was,
you've succeeded.
I've exceeded. Like, Mom is the best.
That's a fact.
And we love her to death.
That's a fact.
We're blessed.
Yes, I agree. Okay, so we are wrapping up here, but looking back, okay, if you could go back in time and give your younger son advice, both as an athlete and as a mom, what would it be?
It would be to, specifically as an athlete, to take advantage of opportunities afforded to me, right? Like, I don't know, it might have just been like, because I was dumb and young and just thought like, everybody gets all this and, I did, whatever. Yeah. I feel like I didn't always take advantage of opportunities that were afforded to me, right? I went to college for free, all this, so like, I, not coasted through life, and I worked hard, right? Especially on the court. But like, I feel like there was another level. Like now, as a mom, as a professional, I take advantage of opportunities, even if they seem silly and dumb, and not all the cool people or all the people at my job may not like if it's afforded to me, if there's an opportunity for me to learn and get better, I'm taking that. I don't think I'm not as arrogant as I was kind of coming up. And I feel like that's something that I've taken as that I would tell my younger self as a student athlete, like, this is where you need to work on. And then work on your weaknesses. Right? Working on your weaknesses is huge, right? Because I know I'm very self-aware. I know what my weaknesses are. Right. Patience. That is not your only weakness. Specifically patience. kids.
Okay, I got you.
I know it's something that I'm really working on right now. Being patient, just, with my kids and Daddy said the other day, Xavier is, and I keep going to him because, he's my first. And I've made more mistakes with him than I have with him. Yes. It's just what it is. But, watching him, learn and grow as an athlete himself, I'm like, hey, you need to make sure you run the floor. You need to he's 9, right? My dad's like, he's doing great. And I'm like, this is where he can be better. I'm like, yeah, you were nowhere near this when you were his age in terms of, athletic ability. Oh, my God. And he humbled me. Daddy's like, hey, you were nowhere near this. I was like, okay, you're right. And I just have so much high expectation from Xavier because he and I have, we talk about basketball. Right. We watch it, we talk, and I had all these, but now I'm just cheering, giving him more encouragement. All right, don't be so hard on him. Let him kind of be his own person. But you think about the mistakes, as parents, we always want to save your kids from your mistakes. Wow. Same mistake. And not that you can't give them wisdom, but at the end of the day, they've got to make their own choices. And you can tell them, hey, these are the things that you need to do, and this is why. You can literally lay out the blueprint. Right? Hey, this is what you need to do to be successful. And you want them to be successful so bad it hurts. But you have to let them do it their way. Yep. You have to let them learn. You have to let them fail, kind of what we talked about earlier. Failing forward. Because if you don't, they're not really learning any life lessons. They're just, all right, for example, I wasn't always taking advantage of opportunities. Why am I doing that now? Because I got fired because I didn't always take advantage of all my opportunities. I didn't always do it. And now I'm almost 30. I'm 34, almost 35. Now I'm making sure I'm taking all. Could I be in a different place? Sure. But do I appreciate the lesson? Yeah, I do. So for me, it's letting people fail forward, letting my kids learn their lessons in a safe manner. Right? We're not doing things dangerous. Of course. Right. We're not doing things in a dangerous manner, but letting them learn. Yeah. And being okay with it's really hard to watch. When you ask me what was the question, the rapid fire question about what's hardest about your kids growing up is watching them go out in the world. It's because we know how dangerous the world is. Jesus. And how scary it can be. Mm-hmm. But you gotta let them. Yeah. You gotta let them learn. Yeah. Because otherwise they won't be successful because they have their mother there always. I told him the other day he was struggling with something. And I said, hey, I can't always be there for you in this instance. You're well equipped to do this. That's hard. It is. Hard for you? Yeah. It is. But you have to do it. Yeah. Naomi, I don't want to do as much because she doesn't really. She's gonna go out there. Right. Xavier's a little bit more timid. He's I gotta give him the confidence to be like, hey, you're good. You're smart. You're strong. You need to set these boundaries. Right. And this is what it is. Mm-hmm. Let him go do that. I can't be there for you all. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do when I'm not here? Mm-hmm. What are you going to do if I'm not around? Can't have mommy come help you all the time. So it's hard. Because you don't ever want your kids to be hurt. Watching your kids hurt is so hard. Facts. Watching your kids physically, emotionally. Yeah. It's so hard. Mm-hmm. But it's also necessary to grow up. Letting your kids, go out into this world and knowing that you prepared them the best way that you can. And not to say they haven't made mistakes. Not to say mom didn't make mistakes, right? Right. But, we apologize. Hey, mommy should have done that. Mommy should have said this. Mommy should have handled this better. Letting your kids know that you're vulnerable and that you make mistakes too. We're not perfect as parents. Well, have I screwed up? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, it, hopefully it doesn't, affect him in such a negative way someday going down the road but we have open dialogue. He can come and talk to me about things. There you go. And I can talk to him about things. So I love being a mom though. It's probably one of my favorite things. I love that. I love being a mom. I was about to say, so I guess you're gonna, as we wrap up here. Oh yeah. What's your favorite thing about motherhood itself? What's my favorite thing about motherhood? It's the same thing that scares me the most is watching them grow up in this world. Mm-hmm. It's my favorite thing. Xavier turned 9 last year. I was like, oh my God, this year he'll be 10. Just think about it. Yeah. Just think about it. In the same amount that I've had him now, and that is the same amount I have with him before he goes off into this world and does whatever he wants to do. That is scary. But it's also amazing. Mm-hmm. He's got friends. He's got people. I mean, watching him with his friends, watching Naomi with her friends. We went to a skating party. Watching her. It's interacting. Yeah, interact with people and just watching their personalities. Yeah. I see some of Cody. Yeah. I see some of me. I see some of you. I know. Remember, we went to Disney World and we were doing the Lion King play. Yeah. And I'm over there. I remember boohooing. Yes. Because they got up on stage and they did this interactive thing, and I was just like, I don't know. Yeah. I can't even explain exactly what that feeling was. I just know that in that moment,
I was super happy to be present.
Yeah.
And super happy to see two healthy, beautiful children.
Yes.
Doing things that there's a lot of children aren't able to do.
Correct.
And doing it together.
Right.
And I was bawling.
Yeah. I was like, hey, what's going on? Why are you crying? She's like, I'm just so excited. Yeah, we love Lion King, but
that's crazy.
We're just so blessed, bro. Like to be able to do those things with the family and have you come over, have V, come over, go on, doing things together, watching your kids grow up is so sad because you're like, the danger, but it's also so happy. You see them in their watching them in their element, do things, be happy is probably the most favorite thing. I feel seeing them smile is the best in the world.
I love that.
Yeah.
Dee, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
I think the insight that you gave is like legit why I want to have this podcast. I want to be able to be in vulnerable spaces and just talk about the everyday struggles, kind of putting what we have on the court and who we are as an athlete, and now that we're older and turning that into our everyday work life, motherhood life, whatever the case may be. So thank you so much for being on episode 2 of the Playmakers Blueprint.
I love it. I love what you're doing. Keep killing it. You're amazing. This is awesome. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Love you too. Let us know. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, give us feedback, questions. We'll go ahead and we'll add Dee at her Instagram and her Facebook. Talk about you don't have a big following.
I don't.
But we're here at your disposal. Thank you so much for another episode of the Playmakers Blueprint.
Yay!
Thank you for tuning in to the Playmakers Blueprint. You can catch me every Monday at 6 p.m. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Catch you next week.